All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive. And, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to be diving deep into Rivals. It's been making a lot of headlines. And, well, you guys sent us a ton of articles about it, so we know you're interested. This Hulu show, it's based on a Jilly Cooper novel.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's causing quite a stir.
It's definitely got people talking, that's for sure.
It's got this really interesting blend of, like, a British period drama set in the 80s.
Yeah, it's that glamorous 80s era, but it's got this like modern edge to it, especially when it comes to, certain themes, adult themes.
Yeah, let's just say it pushes some boundaries.
It definitely is.
So before we get into all that spicy stuff, let's give our listeners a little bit of a rundown of what Rivals is all about.
Okay, sounds good.
Picture this. It's the world of British media and politics.
Oh, juicy already.
Right. But it's like dialed up to 11, the power plays, the ambition, the wealth. It's like Shakespeare meets Dynasty.
It's definitely got that over-the-top drama.
So the main players in this whole game, we've got Lord Tony Battingham.
Ooh.
Oh, he's like this media tycoon,
Got it.
Runs this huge TV empire called Corinium TV.
So he's calling the shots in the media world.
Basically. And then you've got his rival, Rupert Campbell Black.
What's his deal?
Well, he's a politician, a charismatic one,
Yeah.
at that serving as the sports minister. And let me tell you, these two, they are constantly at each other's throats. It's a total power struggle.
Wow, that's intense.
Oh, and it doesn't stop there. We've got Declan O'Hara. He's a super smooth TV host.
I love those types.
Yeah, and he's got his American producer, Cameron Cook. She is ambitious.
So they're trying to make their own waves in this world.
Oh, absolutely. They're right in the thick of it, getting caught up in all the drama. And around all these major players is like this whole cast of characters. It's this intricate web of relationships, rivalries, you name it.
It sounds like there's no shortage of drama in this show.
Oh, not at all. But here's where it gets really interesting. Rivals is not afraid to show, well, pretty much everything.
Oh, okay. I've heard a little about this. Like, what kind of stuff are we talking?
Think like Dynasty, but with even fewer limits.
Ooh, that's saying something.
It's like the showrunners were like, okay, let's just throw open the doors and show how the wealthy and powerful really behave behind closed doors.
And all this is happening in the 80s, right?
Right. So, I mean, we're talking like the first scene literally involves a bare bum.
Yeah.
And it only gets more, shall we say, revealing from there.
Whoa, they're not holding back.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Airplane bathroom hookups, naked tennis, like
Yeah.
every episode's a game of what are they going to show next?
Okay, so definitely a lot of steamy scenes, but what about the representation? Is it just focused on straight relationships?
That's what I think is so interesting about Rivals. They show gay relationships and sexuality with the same openness.
Now that is interesting, especially for a show set in Britain in the 80s.
Exactly. It's not just about shock value. It adds this whole other layer to the show's exploration of, relationships and desire.
Yeah, I can see that. So it's like they're saying, look, this is part of life for these people, so we're going to show it.
Exactly. And what's fascinating to me is they don't just focus on the act itself. The characters are always talking about sex, sizing each other up. It's like this constant undercurrent of attraction and desire. They use it as a weapon in their power games.
So you really think that the creators are making a statement about people in positions of power?
I mean, it definitely makes you think, right? Like, is this just how the ultra-wealthy and powerful behave? Or is the show trying to say something more about, those in power in general?
Right, right.
These characters, they have this sense of entitlement, zero consequences for their actions. You have to wonder if all this uninhibited behavior is just a symptom of their privilege.
I see what you mean. It raises some interesting questions about power and privilege, for sure.
And it's not all just, like, straightforward either. Think about Rupert Campbell Black, the politician. He's totally got the hots for this young woman, Taggy.
Okay, is that all?
Oh, but wait. There's a twist. Taggy's mother, Maud O'Hara.
Yeah.
She's also attracted to Rupert.
Oh, wow. Okay, that just got complicated.
Right. So it's not just lust and desire. It's ambition, status. It's all tangled up in this messy web of relationship.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
Oh, totally. And then you've got this one scene where a man has sex with 4 women.
Whoa, hold on. In most shows, that would be a huge scandal.
Exactly. But in Rivals, it's presented as, like, almost normal. Like, it's just part of their world.
That's why. So is the show trying to normalize that kind of behavior, or are they making a statement about the elite?
Well, that's a great question, and it's something we're going to dive into right after the break. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment letting us know your thoughts on Rivals. We'll be right back.
Can't wait to hear what you all think. It really makes you think about, what's considered acceptable behavior, especially when you're talking at the elite. Like, is this truly shocking? Or is it just a peek into a world with completely different rules?
Right. Like, is this just the logical conclusion of having that much wealth and power and no consequences? It really makes you think about our own values, too.
Yeah.
And it's not all just about sex, either. The rivalry between Tony and Rupert,
Yeah, let's do her something else.
it's like Shakespearean. I mean, they use the media, they play these political games, they even use their relationships to get ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's all fair game to them. And speaking of the relationships, you know what I find interesting?
What's that?
Rivals doesn't just show the women as, like, passive players in all of this.
You're right.
Like, look at Lady Daphne Fitzherbert, Tony's wife.
She's a whole other level of ambitious.
Exactly. She is cunning, she's smart, and she knows how to use her position to get what she wants. And let's not forget Cameron Cook either.
Oh, Cameron's a force to be reckoned with in that male-dominated world of television.
For sure. She doesn't back down from anyone.
It's almost like they're saying, hey, we might not have all the power, but we're going to make our presence known.
Right. Like, they're not just arm candy. They're shaping things, even if it's behind the scenes sometimes.
Exactly. And for all the darkness and the drama, Rivals also has this sharp wit, this humor. Like, it's not all doom and gloom.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely some laugh-out-loud moments. The dialogue is fantastic, full of these little cutting remarks and scandalous gossip. And it doesn't take itself too seriously either.
Right. Like, it winks at the audience. It's like the show knows it's pushing buttons and kind of enjoys it.
Totally. But beneath all the glitz and drama, there's this undercurrent of longing, this dissatisfaction. Like, these characters, they have it all, the wealth, the power, the looks.
Yeah.
But they're still searching for something more. Like, it's not enough.
It's like they're missing that genuine connection, something real.
And I think that's where the show really finds its depth. It goes beyond just the surface. It's looking at the complexities of desire, ambition, the price of success. It makes you question, does all this freedom and privilege really lead to happiness? Or is it just a different kind of emptiness?
It's like a cautionary tale, but it's wrapped up in this glamorous, scandalous package.
Totally. You get drawn in by the spectacle, but then it makes you stop and think about the cost of living in a world without any boundaries.
Yeah. I think that's why people are so captivated by it. It forces you to confront your own values, your ambitions, and what you're willing to sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice,
Exactly. I mean, Rivals is a show that makes you think, makes you question things. And in a world where there's just so much content, that's really saying something.
It's definitely leaving its mark.
Yeah.
So to our listeners, we want to know, what do you think? Are you drawn in by the glamour, the drama? Or do you find the character's behavior, a little bit reprehensible? Tell us in the comments. We want to hear from you.
And, even if, like, Rivals isn't totally your thing, it's interesting to think about why it's gotten so much attention, right? Like, is it just the shock value? Or is there something deeper there that's connecting with people?
I think that's what makes it so fascinating. It's sparking these conversations.
Yeah.
Making us question our own assumptions about, well, a lot of things: power, wealth, desire.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe even, challenging us to see things from a different perspective, like to walk in someone else's shoes for a little bit, even if those shoes are, designer and surrounded by scandal.
Exactly. It's a cultural phenomenon, I think.
Yeah.
And in a world where we are just bombarded with content, that really says something.
Right. It means it's hitting a nerve somehow. Whether you love it or hate it or land somewhere in between, Rivals is definitely making a statement.
Oh, absolutely. It's leaving its mark.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into Rivals, a show that's pushing boundaries, starting debates, and reminding us that sometimes the most captivating stories are the ones that make us just a little bit uncomfortable.
Well said. Couldn't have put it better myself. And on that note, we want to thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful, entertaining, and maybe even, a little bit scandalous.
Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the shows and topics that you care about. And leave us a comment and let us know your thoughts on Rivals, or give us some suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, happy watching.